This speaker has been recorded at an online meeting of Addictive Eaters Anonymous. You can email us at contact@aeainfo.org.
My name is Meirion. I'm an addictive eater. Thanks for asking me to share. I was just thinking about I had a period of about, I think, 6 months after I'd arrived in AEA, where I left. I was still in a food fellowship, and I maintained contact with members of AEA, but I wasn't being sponsored like I am now, or I was before, and yeah, I wasn't in AEA, and I thought maybe I'd just talk a bit about what that was like. um, uh, because ultimately I came back, and I came back because I could feel myself just going nuts, and it wasn't that I was going mad with food, you know. I was still following a program, but yeah, I was like, by degrees, just losing the plot, really. And I remember calling, yeah, and I'd just been given some mad advice as well, you know. So I ended up. This is. I think this is where I ended up in a doctor's surgery with the doctor offering me antidepressants and off like signed off work sick, and it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. I remember in telling the doctor like I really didn't want antidepressants. Well, because I knew it wasn't, that wasn't going to be a solution. you know, with everything that I'd learned about recovery and everything I'd sort of put down, the absolute last thing I wanted to do was to like pick up something else. And I remember picking up the phone to my sort of old AEA sponsor one night, um, and just saying I'm going crazy, I'm going crazy. And I remember the feeling of um, like relief, because I knew that there was some, I knew where I could go when I was going mad. I knew where I could come for some sanity, and thank God it was, he was still in AEA. He was doing the do, so I had somewhere to come, and I need somewhere to come. I need a lot of help with just living, having a job, and I wasn't married then, but I'm married now, and maintaining a relationship and a close relationship and living together and making joint decisions and sharing things, sharing income, sharing decisions about uh, like the house and you know what we what we do with our money. And yeah, and I just need tons of help, and I need this connection with God. Like I need something that I know that I can like trust in no matter what, you know, because no matter how difficult things might appear to be, I need something that is look just bigger than all of that. Yeah, just that, and sponsorship just saved me from making really bad decisions, because you know, eating or not eating, I'm still perfectly capable of making really bad decisions. My life is still not manageable by me, and I'd still make decisions based on fear. Like I've got this new job, and since I moved to Scotland, I quite soon found out that my teaching qualification in England is not immediately recognised in Scotland. They want to check you out first, and and they do that by checking your the degree, your degree and your qualification, and they did all that, and then said, right, we're going to let you teach high school biology. That's what that's what we're going to let you teach, and because that was like the main part of the degree, and it was a secondary qualification. So that's your thing, high school biology. I haven't taught high school biology in 20 years, and I had no plans to go and teach high school biology ever again. And I just fought tooth and nail. Like I wrote emails, do I really have to do this? I've been working in primary schools and blah blah. And there was absolutely no give at all. It was like, I mean, it's high school biology or nothing. And it took maybe, I don't know, I've been here a year and a half, give or take. It took best part of a year to come round to accepting that. All right, well, okay, I'll teach high school biology if that's what I have to do. As soon as I made that decision, things started to pop up, and then I got a job, and I've been doing that job for about 3 weeks, and it's all right. It's all right. What I love is that I can just accept that that's the way, that's the next thing, that's the thing in front of me. And I also know that, again, it says it in the literature, that the things that came to us when we put ourselves in God's hands were far better than anything we could have planned ourselves. Like, I cannot plan and carry out a happy life plan for Meirion. Can't do it. It just goes horribly wrong. And so I have to just put myself in God's hands, and take direction from a sponsor, and I do, yeah. I just think that all the things that I'm afraid of, and all the things that I don't want to do, those are the things that enable me to grow, and particular things I'm frightened of. And I think, geez, how many more things am I frightened of that I'm going to have to do? But it's just for today, and it's fine. And I've even enjoyed some of it. I'm good at it often. And I also think that because 20 years ago, the reason I left the job was because it was too hard, and I got a better idea, which turned out it just went pear-shaped, really. And so I kind of see this as a bit of making like a living amends for having bolted 20 years ago. So I can come and sort of see it through this time. Being here and being sober kind of just keeps I can't go too far off. No one's telling me to go off sick or go to the doctors and get antidepressants. And it's remarkable how well a day can go on the days that I wake up thinking, oh God, not another one. So I just know that my thinking just is it's just a liar in my head. So yeah, good to be here and sober and working.